Hi everyone, it's Lisa. I was a little stunned because I got that message again that says we're trying to connect. I think I'm just a few seconds early, but I wanted to come in and say hi, I'm here, and I hope you guys are too. I'm going to stall for just a few minutes to let you get online so that you can join us. I don't want you to miss any part of the presentation, especially if you sent a timer to be here on time. I'm super glad. I've got a great project to share with you tonight. I'm also going to share some additional samples with the same stamp set at the end of the presentation, so make sure you stick around. Also, I just want to go over a couple technicality things with you so that you're not surprised if something happens. Remember, this is live, so we never know what's going to happen with Facebook. Technology is a tricky thing sometimes. So if you lose me, which means you lose connectivity, just come back on and I'll be here. You can catch up when where we left off. Also remember too that I do save this so that you can go back and watch it again at the end. I'm looking down below because I can see who's signed on. Hi Loretta, I'm glad that you've joined us. And if I should lose you, oh gosh, I always pray that doesn't happen, but if I should lose you, I'll come back. There'll be a second segment, but I'll be here so you can get the whole thing. You know, we just never know when it's live. So isn't it live a great thing? Where you're at, I'm at, just doing my thing. And it feels like you're here with me. It's just really great. Hi, Megan. I'm glad that you've joined us. I'm looking at my list really quick, and I just want to make sure that I've touched on everything. If you are using a mobile device, which means an iPhone, a Droid, or an iPad, something like that, you won't be able to view it unless you have downloaded the application for Facebook to that mobile device. That's just something that doesn't work without it. If you're on your PC or your Mac or a laptop, for instance, you should be able to have no trouble if you've got that Facebook loaded. So that's just another tip for you when we get started. Today, I am actually going to be using this stamp set called Better Together. Now it's kind of big, so I'm going to kind of move out a little bit. The Better Together stamp set, I think, is a product in the annual catalog that is well overlooked. And I'm going to tell you why. 19 pieces in this stamp set. Lots of verbiage. How many of you are short on verbiage? Hi, Lynn. Good to see you. I don't know about you, but we've got maybe some greetings, but we don't have words for the inside of our card. So this stamp set has them all. Hi, Linda. Hi, Donna. It's so good to see you guys. Leave a comment on where you're from. It's always fun to see where you're watching from. So the stamp set includes verbiage for the inside and outside of your cards, but here's the best part. There are a few graphics in here, and that makes this super, super versatile. Now, I'm going to tell you that I have used this for studio stamps in the mail for the month of December, and it's not too late. So if you like what you see tonight, you can jump over and click on the Learn More button right here on top of the Facebook page, which will navigate you to my blog, and there you can click on the Online Classes tab and then be able to join Stamps in the Mail. This is a great opportunity for you not only to get the stamp set, but you're going to get to make 8 cards with it. There'll be 2 of 4 different designs. I include a video and a PDF tutorial. Everything is pre-cut and ready for you to go. There's lots of details there for you. I'm just checking my list one more time. Oh, and hang on too, because this is going to be a first time. We've never done this. Hi, Grace. Hi, Megan. Hi, Linda. Hi, Lisa. I wanted to make sure that you know I've never done this before, so I'm going to try something new. At the end, when I'm done demonstrating, I am going to show you the cards that are included for Studio Stamps in the Mail for December. Now you're probably wondering, why did I choose this stamp set for December? Well, I'm going to tell you why. How many of you, raise your hand, are super busy in December? You're decorating, you're cooking, you're baking, you have parties, you're wrapping, you're shopping, the whole bit. And December is meant to be enjoyed with family and friends. And I don't know about you, but you should have started your Christmas cards already. And if you haven't, that's okay, because this set can get you started, and I'm going to tell you why. Not only did I make Christmas cards with it, but I made other cards as well. Cards make great gifts. So think of packaging the cards from the Studio Stamps in the Mail together and giving them as gifts this year. Nobody ever looks at a gift as unappreciated, and I can tell you right now that handmade cards are always going to be used and appreciated and loved. They're always, it's a great thing to make handmade gifts. All right, so let's get started. I am going to flip you down to the stamp table. You're going to get a really ugly view. It's going to include the ceiling fan, the lights, and my punch wall. And once I do, the phone is literally going to be at my eye level, so I might not be able to address all of your comments right away, but don't get discouraged. I do read them all at the end. And at the end of the video, I'll make sure to put pictures up of the finished card that I put tonight. So just hang with me. But I'm gonna go ahead and flip you down, and then we'll get everything set up so that we can start. So give me 1 second. I told you you're gonna get an ugly view. And then this is where I'm gonna adjust my camera so we can get you in a little closer. I think that's good, and the lighting should be decent. Hi, Marion, I'm glad that you're here. It's nice to see you too, Loretta. All right, so let's get started. Let me drag out my pre-cut supplies, make a little room here on my stamp table. I am going to start with a piece of crumb cake cardstock. This measures 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm gonna fold it in half. I'm a big fan of my bone folder, so if you've never watched my videos before, you'll see that I love this thing. It gives you a nice crisp crease on your cards as well as your 3D projects. Really important when you're doing boxes especially. So here we've got the base of our card. I also cut a piece of Calypso coral cardstock. This measures 4 by 5.25. I'm trying to find what I did with my next piece of paper. This is the beauty of being live, right? You just never know what you're gonna get. I have it. Blushing Bride. This is 3 3/4 by 5. And this is the piece I'm actually gonna do a little bit of work on. So I'm gonna set these aside. I wanted to give you the dimensions. I'm gonna clear out my workspace because guess what? I'm gonna bring in the Big Shot. Bear with me here because I want to make sure I have enough room. I work in literally, this is probably a 2 foot by 2 foot area here. And I'm going to stretch you out just, or bring you in just a little bit more so you can see better. There, I think that'll work. Hi, Susan. So I've got my Big Shot platform. This is the new one, so it doesn't have the tabs. Love this because I don't have to worry about the extended length that the old one had. I'm going to put one of my cutting mats on the bottom to protect it. And I'm going to use an embossing folder. This one looked familiar. This is part of the Paisley's suite, and I think it's well overlooked. So we're going to use this, and I'm going to put my paper inside here. Just a tip for you, if you didn't know this, the actual front of the embossing folder is always where the words are. So if you want it to be embossed and it actually happens to be attached to a card, which means this would be the crease, you want to make sure that the words are facing up. If it's backwards this way, it's going to be de-embossed, which means the image is actually going to go down inside of the paper. So you can see here that I've actually centered this the very best I can on this piece of paper. We're not going to get crazy, all right? So if it's not perfect, it's okay. I've put that here on top of my Big Shot platform, another clear mat over the top, and then I'm going to start by just cranking this through. I'm the only girl in Florida who never has to worry about a power outage when she wants to paper craft because it requires a little bit of cranking and no power. Isn't that nice? So I don't ever have to worry about using a die cutting machine that requires power. Hey, for us Florida girls, that's a big deal. All right, and so here we've got our embossed paper. Look how pretty. Isn't that awesome? But wait till you see what we're going to do with this. Let me set this aside, and I am going to attach my layers of cardstock. Now, I know I don't have my grid paper underneath me, so bear with me for just a second because I'm going to bring the Big Shot back in. I'm going to try to bring you in a little closer because I see there's a little bit of glare there, and I know that can be kind of frustrating. Okay, there we go. So I'm using snail adhesive, and I'm going to put a little bit in my 4 corners. I have to giggle sometimes when I have my customers here at class and we're crafting together and I see them cover the entire piece of paper with adhesive, and I just laugh because I think to myself, I wonder if they know they don't have to use that much. So remember, we are just going to mail it. We do not have to worry about it going through a hurricane. All right, the next thing I'm going to do now, I have to actually move this over because I put it on the wrong piece of paper. See, you gotta love live. I put it on a piece of scrap that I had here in case I made a boo-boo. Told you it was gonna be like you being with me. All right, so there we go. Now we're on a card base, that's better. This is gonna go here, so I'm gonna go ahead and attach some snail adhesive on the back of here as well. And again, a little bit in the 4 corners. And I'm going to attach this one here to the front. So now I've got a triple layer. So I've got my base, I've got my coral, and I've got my Blushing Bride. I'm just gonna rub from the back, and I like to do that because I usually always have ink all over my fingers. So there we go. Now we've got the base of our card. Let me bring in the Big Shot because now we're gonna do some die cutting. So now we have the Big Shot here. I'm gonna bring you back out. I know I bring you back in and back out. I'm sorry. But I want to make sure you can see as much as you possibly can. I'm using the magnetic platform. That's going to be for the framelets. Let me grab my mats. I've got one for the bottom to protect it. I've got another for the top. And the next thing I'm going to be using is this. It's the Layering Ovals Framelets. So we have regular ovals and graduated sizes. I absolutely love these because the sizes are very closely related. So they actually create layers perfectly. So one will fit on top of the other. And then I have the scallops that are also part of the same package. Now some of you may be asking me, what are these on? These are magnet sheets. You can buy them at a home improvement store. I think I got these at Lowe's. And they're used to cover the vents for your heating and air conditioning. I just cut them down to fit inside the clear envelope that they come in from Stampin' Up. I find that keeps them a little bit neater and not so rustled and jumbled around inside the folder. I've also numbered them. I don't know if you can see this or not, but do you see how I've numbered the framelets? I use a fine tip Sharpie marker and I label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way through the end. And then the scallops, I letter A through F, for example. And you're probably thinking, well, why do you do that? Well, I'm gonna tell you why I do it. Because when I go to create a project and I wanna create it again, I don't know which framelets I used. So I find if I number and letter them that I know exactly how to repeat that project. This is really great when you're going back to create Christmas cards or maybe mass produce a bunch of cards for friends. So numbers and letters work really well for me. You may have your own system that works great, but this is just what I do. So I've pulled out an oval and I have pulled out a scallop. So I've got a piece of crumb cake cardstock here on the platform. I move that in a little bit so you guys can see it. And I have a scallop and I have an oval. And I'm going to rest them right inside of each other. And this is the beauty of the framelets, that they're closely related in size, so we can do all kinds of fun things. And this just happens to be one of them. Clear mat over the top. Now I'm going to have to turn this a little bit, guys, so I can crank it. And then I'm going to crank this through. And that's going to die cut them. So let me show you what this looks like. Now that that's finished, let me set that aside. All right, so let me bring back in my grid paper because I think that helps cut down on the glare a little bit. Is that a little bit better? I think so. All right, so now we've got this. Let me take these pieces out of the way. Do you see how it's die cut the oval? But we're not going to use that today. But let's save it. We'll use it for something else another day, just not today. This is what I'm after. I'm after this. I'm after this thin ring here that these two pieces together created. Also, if you're a scrapbooker, you're probably looking at this going, oh my, I've got uses for that. A picture would be great behind here. And how about you card makers? How about some designer paper and a small embellishment and a greeting? You'd be all set. So one pass through the Big Shot has given us really 3 great pieces. We've got this one, which is the negative. We've got, of course, our little scallop frame and, of course, the oval. So this is just a great way to use up those scraps. I'm going to put that aside. This is going to get attached here to my card. Now, you're probably thinking, all right, what's she going to use for adhesive? So I'm pulling out my very favorite thing. It's my silicone craft mat. And if you haven't seen me use this before, I want to talk to you really quick about it. We sell it in the annual catalog. It is awesome because, look, adhesive will not stick to it. It may mar it, but it comes right off. Now, how many times have you tried to put adhesive on small pieces and then you get sticky all over your work surface and then you're always fighting it with your project, and if your paper hits it, it's going to actually tear it. So I find that this is great for these kinds of things. Now I could use fine tip glue, but I'll be honest, the larger area you have to cover, the faster it seems to dry, because it does dry very quickly. Great for sequins and small embellishments, but not so great if you're going to do a larger area with adhesive. So for the sake of today, I wanted to show you how the silicone craft mat works with the adhesive. So I'm going to start by making small areas of adhesive all around the scallop opening. I'm going to go around and around. Now, I'll tell you too, you don't have to cover the whole thing. You just want little dashes of tape all over. So you can see here, there's no adhesive. Now, on the front of here, it's resisted anywhere that I haven't used it because remember, I put it upside down. So this is a great paper crafting tool. Absolutely love that, and it's worth its weight in gold, and it's cheap. That's what I like. So we're going to stick that right here in the middle of the card. I'm just trying to find the best circumference, top and bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. So now we've got our little oval. I'm going to rub from the back. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of scrap Calypso Coral cardstock. And I'm using basic black archival ink. And I'm using the flower from that stamp set I showed you, Better Together. These little pieces are fabulous for cards. And I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. Now, my scrub is off camera, but I have a Stampin' Scrub. One side's wet, one side's dry. Fabulous project accessory because then you don't have to put away dirty stamps. I'm going to set that off to the side. Now, I am going to fussy cut these. Listen, it's a TV project. It's not that hard. We've gotten lazy with framelits, haven't we? I have to giggle because I'm on that same exact page as you. I'm going to show you and give you some tips. So the very first thing you do is you do not want a cut on the stamp line. You want to leave a little bit of paper around it and just follow the contour of those lines. Now you might be saying, well, I always cut on the stamp lines. Well, let me tell you why you shouldn't. If you cut on the stamp line, 9 times out of 10, and it's with all of us, we can't cut perfectly. So therefore, you're going to lose some of the detail of the image. In addition to that, it'll actually make it smaller. So we want to keep these the same size. So I've got 1 rose here. The good news is before you guys joined me, I made a couple extras so you didn't have to sit and watch me cut them all out. So I've got 2 others right here. Let me set those here. So we're going to add these to the card. So I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. Love these double-sided little pre-cut pieces of foam, which will give this a really nice professional lifted look to this card. So I'm going to put that here and that here. If I sound semi-distracted, that's because my husband, who we call Bob the Builder, he's like MacGyver. The guy can do anything. He's tearing out all the Christmas decorations, and he is really being loud. So I'm listening to him, hoping that this is not going to be an expensive project, that what he's doing in the other room. All right, so now we're going to add our roses. So I'm going to start with 1 here in the center, and then I'm going to add 1 over here, and I'm going to add 1 over here. But I've got some fun stuff coming up for this card, so hang in. So that gives us a little bit of a wreath with a little bit of a flower cluster. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a small piece of very vanilla cardstock. This measures 3/4 of an inch by about 3.5. On here is actually where I'm going to stamp the greeting, and I'm going to use With Sympathy. How many of you, unfortunately, am always looking for this greeting and find it difficult to find? You know, I don't know why. I think we're just happy people. We want happy sentiments, but unfortunately we do need these cards. So with thinking of you, a birthday, this card will be great for any occasion. I'm going to ink that up. This is also part of the Better Together stamp set. Everything I'm using tonight is part of that. And then I'm going to stamp that right here in the middle of this paper. And I'm going to attempt, but not to get my head in the camera, because remember, I'm a good almost 2 feet away. So let's see, how did I do? Well, not so good. All right, not so good. All right, how many of you have to flip the paper over like me? All right, now you're going to see the top of my head, because I got to get in there. There's just no 2 ways about it. So this should be a little better. There we go. I've learned that stamping 2 feet away is really not my thing. I'm really not quite good at that at all. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create banner tips on one side, and I'm going to do it on this side. The easiest way to create a banner tip is to use your scissors and make a small slit in the middle of the paper. And then you're going to go from the corner to the top of that slit, just like that, and then do the same thing on the other side, just like that. So now we got a V. By making that slit, you're going to find that you're going to get your ends almost perfect every single time. I'm going to bring in the Crumb Cake ink pad. I'm going to open that up, and I'm bringing in a small wedge of a Stampin' Sponge. Now when you get them, they're round about this size, and then I cut them into wedges. Now the great thing about these, believe it or not, you may look at this and go, oh no, you're not going to put that in that pad. Oh yes, I am. Do you want to know why? You can use a little dish soap and water, rinse them, clean them out really good. The dye-based ink, which is what this is going to clean them off, and then let them air dry overnight, and then you can reuse them in other colors. You do not have to throw them away or dedicate one to every color. Now keep in mind that I said dye-based ink. I would not use this with an archival black or with a craft ink. So you're going to want to be really careful with that. But this is a great money saving tip because let's face it, we want to spend our money on stamps and paper, right? Absolutely. So we've got our banner. I'm going to put some ink here on the sponge by just dabbing it on the pad. I'm going to take some of it off and I am going to sponge the edges of this. Now, I don't know if you can actually see it or not, but there's a little bit of like a rustic look coming to this banner now. It's taking some of the starkness of that vanilla away, toning it down just a little bit so it'll blend nicely with the soft colors of my card. So that once you're set, you're good to go. We'll set that aside. Put my sponge over there. Now we've got this. I wanted some movement to this, so I wanted some curvature. So let me show you what I did. Using my bone folder, there's the oops side, remember? So pretend it's not there. This will be curling it like curling ribbon. Now don't pull too hard because remember it's paper, and then I'm going to go up in the middle and then I'm going to come down on the other end. So do you see what's happened now? Look, I've got some curvature to this. This is a great technique if you're doing 3D projects, boxes and bags and wreaths, because you can add banners that look like they've been molded or texturized to be put on those projects, but great for cards too. All right, so here we go. I am going to bring this part in. I'm going to flip this upside down. That's the bad side. Yeah, I'm embarrassed I messed it up in front of you, but hey, I'm keeping it real, right? A dimensional here and a dimensional here because remember, this is the scooped part. And then paper backing comes off, and here's a tip about that. If you have short fingernails like I do, press in the center of the dimensional. That will help lift the paper off so that you can get the backing off a lot easier. All right, this is going to get tucked underneath here. And I wanted my banner a little bit longer so I can add some embellishments here. So here comes my next fun part. I want to teach you guys how to do this. I'm trying to find that other piece I just cut. Here we go. All right. This is linen thread. This is about 18 inches, and this is an additional piece about 5 inches. We're going to make a multi-loop bow just to give this some texture. I really love this to go with the crumb cake. So I'm going to start off by using 3 of my fingers to create the actual total length of my bow. So I'm holding it here and I'm wrapping 1, 2, 3, and you can see I've got a raw end at the top and a raw end at the bottom. And then I'm going to slip this off my fingers. Listen, if it's messy, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm cinching it in the middle. And then that's where this piece comes in. Boy, have I learned this the hard way. I forgot to cut this piece and I had it all looped and ready to go. So make sure you have both pieces ready. And then I am going to make a knot here in the center. So start off with a tie. Do you see how my bow is coming together? And I'm going to show you in a minute how good it is. All right. And then we're going to make a tie into that one more time because I want to make sure that doesn't fall apart. But here's where the goodness comes in, because now not only do I have multi-loops, check this out, I have multi-strands, making it look like I created a much harder way than I really did. All right, so let me grab my scissors because I think this needs a haircut. Do you see how this guy's not going where I want him? So let me move him down. All right, so I'm going to give this a little bit of a haircut. Sometimes people ask me too, how do you know what length to cut those ends? You know, it really depends on your project, but a rule of thumb is no more than a 1/2 inch extending past the loop. And the reason is, of course, there's exceptions for that, is because that usually will hang off your card if you're going to put it near the edge like I'm going to do. So I'm grabbing my glue dots. They are between the layers of the paper, little tiny pieces of glue that are dropped on here. Love these things. Don't pick them off with your fingers. They're super sticky. And we are going to push the back of the knot right on top of there. Now, some of you on here know me, and you know the nickname we have for these glue dots. So you go ahead and write it on there for the others because I don't want them to think I'm being rude. But it's a funny nickname, and if I tell you what it is, you'll never forget how to use them again. So this now can go wherever you want it. So I wanted to cover a little bit of this, so I actually put my bow here. So there's my bow, but in true Lisa fashion, because I absolutely love bling. I always think every card needs a little bling. I've got some pearls. These have the glue already on the back. That's how they come. You get a whole sheet of them. And you can see at my house, we've used them often. Those are lots of fun. Whoops, I just dropped that one. Okay, and then here's this one. I'll pick that up after the video. I can fetch it. It's right down here by my arm. And then here's the last one right here in the center of my flower. And then I thought it could use a few more. Now, obviously, if you don't like this or you've had enough, you can stop. I'm going to do another up here. And the paper piercing tool is fabulous for this because it's going to stick right to it. But do you see how I put my finger here so I'm not chasing them around? There's nothing worse than chasing an accessory that's on a piece of paper. And I'll do one more right here. These are the itty bitty bitty ones, so they're barely noticeable. So I'm just going to give those a little push, make sure they're on their card. There you go. What do you think? That really simple stamp set can do some beautiful things, can't it? I really, really enjoyed making this card. But as I told you in the beginning, this same stamp set has made some other incredible cards, and I do have those to share with you. So let me flip you back around the other way. Bear with me. And you get that great ceiling shot. Here I am. Do you guys like that? Did you like that card? All right, so the great thing about stamp sets that have some graphics and some verbiage is it allows you to have a lot of versatility. So this is not only going to be great for you to use on all your other cards, it's going to be great for you to pull out these small pieces to make full cards with. Yay, I'm getting lots of thumbs up. Yay, that makes me happy that you like them. They're probably from my mom because I can see she's on here. She's my best cheerleader. Hi, Mom. Mom hasn't bought a card in a long time because I keep her stocked. At least I try, right, Ma? All right, so here's this, but I want to talk to you a little bit more about that stamp set I promised you. This is the Better Together stamp set. That's how I made this card with this stamp set. It's these small images here that can do wonders on a card. Now you may be thinking, no way, there's too many words, not enough graphics. Not true, and I'm going to show you. So this is something I've never done before. I usually show sneak peeks of my studio stamps in the mail, but I will tell you that this one has been extremely popular this month because if you're like me, if you haven't made your cards by December, you're probably not going to make them. So I wanted to include some Christmas cards, but I also want to give you cards to use towards the new year going in. So for example, I've got birthday, I've got baby, and I've got some wedding. So let me show you what else this stamp set created. Now what I'm going to show you, I want you to know that you get all the pre-cut supplies to these cards that I'm going to show you right now, plus the accessories, the envelopes, the stamp set, and the video and the PDF tutorial, all sent directly to your home priority mail. They will be mailed on December 3rd. So depending on what mailing zone you're in, you'll probably have them in 2 or 3 days, and then they're cut, ready to go. Just turn the video on and I'm there with you, and you can put them together. Here's the best thing. You need black ink. Almost all of you who paper craft already have black ink. If you don't, just let me know. We can include it in with your studio stamps in the mail order, or you can order it in my online store. I also used a red marker. Most of you have a red marker. If not, you can order that as well. And then I've got one card that's going to suit all of you, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so here we go. Here's the first one. This is the Christmas card. Now remember what I said, this time of year, if you don't have your cards well underway, you probably won't get them done. But here are two that are going to be inside that packet for studio stamps in the mail that you can easily put together. So your die cut pieces are there, you're going to do your stamping, you're going to do some accessories, and you're done. And the video is going to make this super easy. So 2 of these. And how about a fancy fold? Yes. This stamp set includes that cute party hat, and then do you see what I've done with the words? But I'm going to turn this sideways. Look, I have made a fun breakaway top for this card, and I want to make sure that you get to see how this goes. So this comes down, and then it has kind of like a matchbook fold here at the bottom. Also, did you see too on the inside? Great spot for those inside words that are included as part of the stamp set. So this will come pre-cut, pre-scored, ready to go. So 2 of those and 2 of these, because you know what? It never fails. I still need baby cards. You would think at my age that I don't need baby cards, but what's happening is my friends' kids are having kids, so I still need baby cards. I chose yellow, a saffron color. It's very, very neutral, so it'll go boy or girl. Cute, cute punch art on that card. Again, you'll get the pre-cut pieces and the paper will be embossed for you. And then here's the last one. This is the one I think you're going to get a thrill over because you can use whatever ink you have at home. I used Watermelon Wonder, and you can use whatever shade that you like. So if you're into purple, go for it. If you like yellow, go for that too. This is going to include a sponge dauber that's going to do this technique, which I will teach you in the video. So you will have all 8 cards, 2 of everything that I have showed you here, including the fancy fold and the punch art, and of course this fabulous stamp set. And because tonight you got to see this, you know you've got another idea for this fabulous stamp set. So remember, if you're interested or you want more information, click on the Learn More button here on the top of the Facebook page. It'll navigate you to my blog. The information is there. I'm trying to think, did I write down the price? Oh, I think it's $53.25. That includes priority shipping, the stamps, everything. I do not charge you for the pre-cut supplies. That's just my gift to you for buying the stamp sets from me and me being able to ship them to you. All right, one more thing before I go. A lot of you have asked about Live with Lisa. This is a spotlight. A spotlight is one project, quick and easy and simple, letting you know what's coming up. Live with Lisa is a full length this. I do 2 live presentations, and I usually show up to 8 or more alternate project ideas using those same products. The next one is coming up on December 10th. So how can you join me? It's easy. If you order studio stamps in the mail, I automatically send you an invitation to come. Also, if you place a $35 product order in my online store, I'll send you an invitation to come. But how about if I show you the stamp sets and the products we're going to be using on that one, just to get you a little bit more excited. Let me reach over here and grab them. So the first one is this, Stylized Birthday. Yes, a single stamp. And you're probably thinking, a single stamp? Yeah, it's December, because if you're like me, your wallet is screaming this time of year. This is an inexpensive stamp set. 1 piece, wood mount, super easy. And if you're thinking wood mount, no way, wait till you see what I've done with this. I'm super happy with the projects. The other that I'm going to be showcasing that day is going to be this. It's the Weather Together bundle. It includes the matching framelits. I have come up with some great things with these. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I really try hard to work outside the box. I'm looking to give you ideas and inspiration you may not have thought of or seen. So when I design, I don't go to Pinterest, and if I do, I tell you beforehand, but never with Live with Lisa. So everything is a first-timer kind of project, and because I want to keep you inspired. Okay, I think that covers it all. I think that's it. So click on the Learn More button if you're interested. And I am so glad that you joined me for today's card. And I hope that it has inspired you. Thanksgiving is coming up and we are headed to go spend time with family. I'm looking forward to it very much. I'm thankful for all of you and I wish you and your family a very blessed and wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful holiday season. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. Have a great night.